Ever stop to think about all the little things you do every single day that seem completely automatic? I bet you haven't. You chalk them up to routine, to habits. But you're wrong. They're not just habits at all. And as crazy as it sounds, almost everything you do has been planned for you in advance. Our lives have been guided, programmed even, to push us towards certain actions. But who's pulling the strings? Who decided what you had for breakfast today? Why's that random song stuck in your head this morning? Why are those news stories showing up in your feed? And which show will you binge tonight? Why did you spend way more time on social media than you swore you would? Here's another one. Who decides if you'll nail your aim in the toilet today? Or as usual, splash a little off target? You think that's all on you? Not exactly. That can be influence too. And today I'm going to prove it. You're on the channel Pandemic of the Mind. Let's go. At Amsterdam's airport, management noticed guys were not exactly hitting the target in the urinals. They tried everything. Polite signs like aim better or control yourself. Nothing worked. The airport kept bleeding money cleaning up men's restrooms. Until one staffer came up with a simple stroke of genius. They put tiny stickers of flies inside the urinals. Just cheap little decals. But suddenly, without even thinking about it, men started aiming for the fly. Boom! 80% fewer misses. 15% less spent on cleanup. And notice, no one ever told the men anything. Their behavior just changed. There's another funny trick too, the urinal soccer trainer. Basically, a little ball and mini goal in the urinal. The guy sees the ball, instinctively takes the shot. Suddenly, no splashes, and hey, he's Cristiano Ronaldo for 3 seconds. The toilet stays clean. Funny. Definitely. Practical? Oh yeah, these are popping up in airports, offices, busy venues, especially across Europe. Maybe you've already hit that fly or scored that goal without even realizing it. And that right there is how something called nudge theory works. It nudges people into doing things they never planned on doing. There's even a special name for these little behavioral pushes, nudges. In the urinal story, the fly itself was the nudge. We go about our daily lives, at home, at work, socially, never realizing we're surrounded by nudges. Always, what they push you toward depends on who put them there. Another one, the Icelandic government wanted drivers to slow down. But how do you reach every single motorist? Enter nudges. Instead of a normal crosswalk, they painted a crosswalk as a 3D optical illusion, making it look raised off the ground. Drivers instinctively slowed down. Sweden had a different issue. Subway escalators were jammed, but no one wanted to take the stairs. Solution? They turned the stairs into giant piano keys. Suddenly, curiosity kicked in. People started walking the musical stairs instead of crowding the escalator. In Japan, subway riders kept falling asleep and missing their stops. What did they do? Instead of boring announcements like, "Next station," they started playing a unique little jingle for each platform. Riders would wake up, recognize their tune, and hop off. Complaints dropped, moods improved, but those nudges are obvious. You can see them, hear them. The sneakiest ones, you can't notice them at all. Take Austria. Faced with a shortage of organ donors, they didn't beg people to sign up. Too awkward. Instead, they flipped the script. By default, every citizen automatically became an organ donor at 18. To opt out, you had to go through annoying bureaucracy. Most people didn't bother, and many didn't even know the rules had changed. Those nudges are practically invisible, quietly built into daily life. And they're even easier to hide in that smartphone you're holding right now. For example, in the real world, slowing drivers down means paint, labor, 3D illusions. Online, in car sharing, all it takes is a driver rating system. The service tracks your braking, speeding, other habits. The safest drivers get discounts, nudging everyone else to drive smoothly. And here's the kicker. Online, you don't even need a human to steer your behavior. Algorithms do it all. One of the most powerful, recommendation algorithms. Need a birthday gift for a friend? Marketplaces serve up ideas. Netflix and Spotify feed you movies and music. Even your next date, served up by Tinder. Algorithms are like your personal assistants, tuned to your mood and preferences. They decide for you, and you just tap OK, thinking you're in control. So are algorithms actually choosing who we watch, who we date, even who we sleep with? How do they predict what we want? They can't read our minds, and can they? Ever wondered why almost no one knows how to solve a Rubik's Cube? Or how Tinder ranks people by attractiveness? Why websites want your cookies? And what your digital portrait really looks like? What TikTok has in common with a slot machine? Or why we don't listen to whole albums anymore? Back in 2002, an internet algorithm predicted a girl's pregnancy before she told her parents. How? Her shopping cart. She bought vitamin B6, stretch mark cream, moisturizer, zinc. Which algorithm was this? Just a basic if-then system. It assigned everyone a pregnancy index. Ordered unscented lotion because everything smells awful lately? +1 to your index. Bought vitamins? Up it goes. Tossed in stretch mark cream? That's the point of no return. Send her a diaper coupon. Nice promo, right? But customers freaked out. They didn't like how obviously the algorithm invaded their privacy. It almost went to court. The feature was quietly killed. But if-then logic is everywhere. Bought a new phone? It offers you a case and a screen protector. Sound familiar? Sounds like a meme, but it's the same logic you use to teach a parrot to talk, or pick a podcast, or even boot Windows. One algorithm used forever. The more complex the task, the bigger the if-then chain. That's why almost no one knows how to solve a Rubik's Cube. But the few who do, they just follow an if-then algorithm step by step. Solve one side, position adjacent centers. Got those? Complete the second layer, and so on. You run into this logic every single day and don't even notice. Early recommendation algorithms sometimes went off the rails. You'd buy a computer, then get recommendations for other computers. So the basic if then was upgraded. Instead of just knowing what you want, it started learning from your behavior. Here's how that works. Say you like Marvel movies and Stranger Things, and you just watched the latest Avengers flick. Next, the algorithm suggests the new Captain America. Knowing algorithms tried to find the perfect product for you. Learning algorithms try to find the perfect match between people, between patterns of behavior. They don't care about context or logic. They just crunch. People like you liked X, even if you've never met those people. That's how they can suggest not just a phone case, but your future partner. Yep, I'm talking Tinder, Bumble, all the dating apps. So can love, romance, attraction really be reduced to algorithms? Oh yes. Here's the thing. If your Tinder score was, say, 1,000, Tinder would mostly match you with people in that same band. Users way above or below your score, you'd never see them. Which basically meant, until 2019, Tinder matched you only with people like you. Somewhere out there, the most attractive and the least attractive people on Tinder would never cross paths. After 2019, Tinder changed its algorithm. Now it matches based on lifestyle. Love parties? You'll get other party people. Into dogs and books? Cat lovers will almost never pop up in your deck. But how does a learning algorithm learn your life? Enter cookies. Cookies are like those old high school questionnaires. Your tastes, hobbies, favorite movies. They tell algorithms what city you're in, roughly how old you are, how often you visit certain sites, what you click, how much time you spend. Basically, the entire internet is connected through these cookies. You read about some weird gadget on one site. Boom, marketplaces start shoving it in your face everywhere else. But why do sites even do this? Because we let them. That first time you visited, you clicked accept. But seriously, who actually reads those terms of service? Purple Wi-Fi ran an experiment. They snuck a clause into their user agreement. Anyone using their free Wi-Fi owed them 1,000 hours cleaning public toilets. 22,000 people clicked OK. Brutal, but hilarious. And it proves nobody reads the fine print. So what if you banned all sites from reading your data? You could still browse, compare prices, but you couldn't add to cart or check out. The site would forget who you are. So what's the move? Simple. If you're just reading an article, don't share your cookies. But if you plan to buy something, you'll have to share. Otherwise, no checkout. And why is TikTok basically a slot machine? Its algorithm works like a casino. Every swipe is a spin, maybe a boring video, maybe a jackpot. That variable reward cycle is classic slot machine psychology. That's why you sit there for hours when you meant to watch just one video. And why don't people listen to whole albums anymore? Because if you like a certain artist, algorithms feed you similar tracks. Even whole playlists of songs from different artists, all in the same vibe. That's why people now listen to styles, not albums. We like to think of life as a game where we are the players making the moves. But most of the time, it's the other way around. Flies in urinals, musical subway stairs, 3D crosswalks, recommendation algorithms, all quiet little behavior shapers. They don't order, they don't shout, they just nudge, and we go where they want. Every day, we're guided by hundreds of invisible nudges. Some help us, some save companies money, others feed entire industries with our data. And the scariest part, we don't even notice. We tell ourselves, I chose this show, this song, this product. But look closer, maybe that choice was made for you. So where do our real decisions end and someone else's script begin? Who actually controls our attention, our habits, our desires? Maybe the real question isn't what to have for breakfast tomorrow or which playlist to throw on, but how much of your life still belongs entirely to you.